There we go. Hey.
Powered by Riverside.
Life, love, and legacy. Welcome to the Trent Out Loud Podcast. I am your host, Trent Out Loud. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I love my sound effects. And welcome to the second episode. And I am very proud and honored to introduce my second guest, Toni Grant. Hey! Hold on. I got some Jamaican sound effects too. I got to find a way to turn that down. People in their car are going to be like freaking out. How are you, Toni?
I'm good, just chilling. You?
Good. I'm very good. Well, the truth is that you just came back from the hospital to get some stitches, but we will get into that later on in the show and let people know what that was all about. But you are okay, though,
fine.
right?
I'm chilling now.
Just want to make it clear that you are okay to do the podcast and you're doing this on your own free will.
Yes, my own free will. I made sure I was ready to do
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to start the show off with just telling people how we met, from my perspective of how we met. And then you could fill in the blanks because there's some actually blanks that I don't even remember.
Yeah, I had to ask my
and then,
I was like, Mom.
Oh, really?
Fill these in just in case.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was 10 years ago, right? So, yeah. So anyway, so I'll set that up and then we'll get into life, love, and legacy. Tell people about your story and your journey because I think it's amazing and I think it's a story that people should know. And the premise of the podcast is to just to learn from everybody else's story, right? And I feel like people can learn from my journey as an entrepreneur. People can learn from your journey as a cancer survivor. And I feel like everybody has a story and you are an example of strength, resilience, and just amazingness. So, at your young age of 23 years old, there's something that can be pulled from that. So I'm excited for people to learn more about you. Okay. All right. So 10 years ago, we had Galaxy Foam Posits. With any sneakerheads listening, it was arguably like one of the biggest releases in sneaker history.
Yeah,
you remember,
I remember
right?
your lineup outside your store.
Exactly. So we announced the lineup. There's LA was packed, of New York, whatever, and we were one of the only boutiques. So people came from Toronto, Ottawa. People came from New York. There was too many people in the lineup in New York. People came out to Montreal. The Montreal Gazette was there. Pulse was there. Everybody was there. So I mean, I don't remember whose idea it was, but maybe you could fill me in. But anyways, I said, you know what? With all this attention, I want to give back and I want to do something and I want to help somebody, because this is sneakers and there's money and people are reselling. But, how could we use this opportunity to amplify, someone's story or give back and to help? It's something that we've always, tried to implement. And like I said, this is where you could come in. Who reached out to you? Who reached out to your parents? How did you come into the fold?
I have no idea, to be completely honest with you. I just remember
fair.
coming to your store for my brother. He was always buying your shoes and clothes and stuff. So I think like my mom, I don't know. I think she maybe heard it from somebody and then she might have spoken to you. Like, honestly, I don't even remember how I got there. I just remember being there and everybody wanting these shoes and going crazy that I was holding a pair. I just remember that. But like, I have no idea how like I ended up to like come to you.
Okay, well, shout out to whoever it was that brought Toni to the store or whatever, because I don't know if we like announce it to say, hey, we're looking for someone. No, we're looking to have an auction. But regardless, we were able to connect. And so what we decided to do, we had a midnight release. And what we decided to do with the last pair was hold an auction outside and raise money for Toni. And we could, we'll get into your story of, what you needed the money for at the time and etc. And And yeah, so I mean, the cops, there was like 10 cop cars
Yeah, I
outside, and they were
remember.
pissed because there's already there was almost so much mayhem going out, and they're like, "What? You're gonna hold a live auction, and people are gonna pay cash, whatever." But then when we told them it's for a cancer survivor, and we told them it's for a 12-year-old girl, were you there at midnight? Were
Yeah,
you actually there when we did
yeah,
the auction?
I was
Wow.
there.
Okay, that's crazy.
I remember I stood outside and
Glad.
held the shoes, and then we did the auction, and everyone's like, "Did I give her
Oh yes,
money
that's
yet?"
true. Yeah. You held up the
Yeah.
shoe. I remember now. Anyway, so then shout out to I Am Browntown, because he was the one who paid, I think it was close to $2,000 or
Yeah,
something like
it
that
was.
for the shoe. And when he found out it was you, he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to donate and to give back." So shout out to Browntown, shout out to everybody in the lineup, shout out to Nike for blessing us with that opportunity. And so that was like one of our, a couple of our little charitable donations that we did, and that was obviously the biggest one. And I'm not gonna lie and sit down and say that we've been in contact for the
Yeah, it's
past
been a
10
few
years.
years.
We haven't.
We've been in
but
contact for a
but
few months though, so like it's
yeah,
okay.
exactly. So we did exactly. I was able to catch up with you on the internet, on Instagram, sorry. And I reached out and I'm like, "Listen, I'm doing this podcast." And did you see the first podcast I did
I
with
seen a
Taya?
bit of it, but I was at work, so my boss kind of
Okay.
yelled at me when I was watching it. Yeah,
Oh, really?
like, get off your phone. I
Yo,
was like, let me
tell your boss I
watch.
said, yeah, exactly. Like, yo, we need to watch the Trent Out Loud
Yeah.
podcast. Anyway, so Taya was like, you guys have been, the both of you have been my two favorite clients that I've met out of the thousands that I've met at Exo City. And people always ask me, like, what's your favorite thing about, being a retail store owner? And it was like the beautiful people I've met. I met so many people, cool friends, mom, dads, relationships that I have now. But Taya's story and your story really stuck out to me the most out of the past 15 years. So this is why I wanted to have both of you guys as my first and second episode of my podcast. And hopefully you two will bring me some luck of my success in retail, bring me some success in the podcast land. Exactly. All right. Okay. So that was the setup. So just tell people a little bit about your story and your journey with cancer.
So I was diagnosed at the age of 9. So basically how it went about is that I was a very active kid. I was also the type of kid that like wanted attention. So I won't lie on that. What's it called? I hurt my knee and my mom thought I was trying to get attention. So it took us like a few months to actually go to the doctors. And then I believe it was the Stat Care clinic. We went to the Stat Care, we got an x-ray and everything. And the doctor said it was a cyst. So it said there was a cyst because I was growing. So it's a normal thing that it's nothing to worry about. It's gonna go away. It's just growing pains that she's dealing with. So my mom was like, okay. Went back to school and was fine. But my knee, like the way it was like right like here on the tibia. It was right there, and there was no marks, there was no bruises, no bumps, nothing. So it also went with her thinking that I was just trying to get attention from her.
So no problem. You did not fall down. You did not scrape your knee. Nothing at all.
I was a very active kid. I loved doing cheerleading. I loved playing soccer and everything. So like I don't know what specific event caused me to like actually start the pain. Maybe when I was playing soccer, maybe when I fell down from the pyramid of doing cheerleading and not being safe.
Got you.
But it just started hurting like after that, and like I couldn't explain the pain. I was also 9 years old. Like how you did, just like it hurts. So after a few months of them saying it was a cyst and that it was just from growing pains, we went to the hospital again. When we went to the hospital again, they basically took another x-ray. They said I broke my bone and it's a calcium buildup. So my bone was trying to heal itself. So my mom was like, okay. So like they put like a little wrap on it. That's it. Then after, I think it was like a few weeks later, my mom usually tells this story, so like I'm trying to remember her voice in the back of my head. So I remember us finally going to the children's hospital. They said the same thing. Okay. My bone broke. It's a calcium buildup. Then I believe it was maybe like not even a day or two, they called my mom back and they said that your daughter needs to come to the hospital because it's something more serious. I obviously couldn't say it over the phone. So we went back to the hospital, and I remember this day, like just sitting in the office. It was the old children's hospital, so they had like those little small rooms in those weird little corners. And we went into
Yeah.
this office, and there was a student doctor before my main doctor came in. So he was the one that also told me it was a calcium buildup. He was sitting in the
Okay.
chair, and he basically told my mom that I had osteosarcoma. So where we thought that the cyst was, it was actually a tumor. And I needed to go into
Wow.
a biopsy just to make sure if it was benign or like if it was cancerous. So
Okay.
I think my biopsy, no, lied. They went to put on a cast because they're like, okay, like it's clearly something, your leg's broken, we need to put on a cast. So we put on a cast,
Okay.
and I think the cast was on for maybe a week or two, and I felt like a pressure on the where the cast was, where my leg was hurting. So we had
Okay.
went back to cut off the cast, and usually when you cut off a cast, you cut it off from the top. They were cutting
Yes.
it, and I was like, no, no, like you need to stop because it was like painful. They ended up cutting it from the
Wow.
side, and then when they finally got it off, there was the size of a grapefruit on my leg. Like it was blue, purple, orange. It was just like that pain that
Wow.
was there was not showing. And finally, like, once it was like concealed in a cast, it was just like it bloomed out of
Mhm.
my leg. So then after
So was it hurting in the
it
cast? It
was
must have been hurting
hurting,
in the
it felt
cast, like
like a
it's growing.
pressure, but
Oh
like
my
I did like
gosh.
I was dealing with the pain for like months now. So it was like, okay, like I guess it was just probably
Yeah.
the same type of pain. But no, like it was like
Oh, okay,
finally
get it.
growing, and it was like applying pressure on the cast. Like I wasn't even supposed to get the cast off, but like I kept complaining of too many issues, and now that they
Mm.
know it's a like it could possibly be a tumor, they're okay, like we're gonna check it out. So they took it off, they seen how big it was. It was huge, like
Mhm.
this big on my leg, like literally like a
Oh.
whole bump on my leg. It was the most scariest thing ever. And then finally we went for my biopsy, and then they found out it was cancerous, but I was on the stage one, so that was very good for me.
Okay.
Then I
Okay.
believe I did.
So you
I
caught it
caught it
early
early.
is basically the
Thankfully, I
story.
caught it
Okay,
very
good.
early. I was in the
Yes.
first stage.
Okay.
So like there is a kid that like I was playing with, and his name's Eric. I will give his name out because everybody thinks I hate him. I really don't. I really
Okay.
don't. But not a
Shout
shout
out
out
to
to
Eric.
Eric because so many people think I hate him because he thinks that he
Okay.
gave me cancer because we were playing and he kicked
Huh?
me. But like
Okay.
no, I tell everything I tell everybody, I'm like, cancer's already in your body. It's just how it's activated. Not like it could be activated or it could
Okay.
not be. So like I say to him, I'm like, thank you for kicking me because like it started hurting and I had a pain, and that's why I went to go get checked. If it never hurt,
Oh,
I would probably
okay.
been in stage 2, 3, 4 because like nothing would have been painful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but hold on. Could it have been possible that let's say he never kicked it or nobody ever kicked it? Could it have stayed dormant till you're 90
We
years
don't know
old?
this. So that's also
Okay.
another thing. It could have been, but it
Okay.
also could have been already growing in my
Got
body,
you. And
and
you'll
I
never
would have
know.
never known if I would have hurt myself. So
So you got to just think it's God's
yeah, but
plan.
like in the day, I'm not gonna
Okay.
blame anybody. It's not nobody's fault. It's my own body.
Okay.
So like he did
Facts.
help in some type of way because like if he didn't kick me and it didn't start hurting, I wouldn't have been complaining of pain, and I wouldn't have been going to get checked. I would have been like, oh, it's whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I forgot where it was. I have the worst brain.
Sorry, I ask a lot
It's
of
fine.
questions. So you got the
Okay, yeah,
cast
so
cut
the
off.
cast
It's
got
cut
off,
off on
got
this
the
side.
biopsy.
See, I'm
I
listening, huh?
appreciate it. So the biopsy, we got cut off. It ended up being cancer, stage 1. And then I believe I did about 9 months, uh, 9 months of chemotherapy, but within the middle of doing chemotherapy, I got my first surgery. So basically, what they did was a reconstruction. So it was basically they removed the bone in my leg that was cancerous, and they replaced it with like a
Mm-hmm.
metal bionic leg inside my skin. So
Okay.
we did that,
Okay.
and when they did my surgery, it was basically from the top of my leg to the bottom of my leg, my scar, and they
Okay.
wrapped it up in bandages, but they did it too tight, so I developed blisters on my leg. Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. I went through everything in the hospital. So my mom used to sponge bathe me because like it was better than going to take a bath because like I had open
Mhm.
wounds. So my mom used to sponge bathe me, and I had a favorite nurse, and he's like, Tony, why don't you be like a grown up and like go take a bath? no, no, no. And I'm like, okay, like, let me be a grown up. Like, I'm a big girl. Like, let me take a bath.
Hmm.
And I ended up taking a bath, and I don't know exactly what the issue was. Either they didn't clean the tub before, and the kid had an infection, or it was something to do with the tub because I was soaking in water, you know? You're not supposed to soak, but I ended up soaking in the water. And I think it was like a few days later, I was supposed to get discharged. And one of my favorite nurses ended up coming in. Like, I was getting like taken off all my like IVs, all the things. And they're like, I'm just laying in the bed. So like, she like looks at me. She, did anybody take Toni's vital signs? And they're like, no, she's leaving. Like, she's leaving. She's like, okay, I'm gonna take her vital signs. She took my vital signs. I was dying because like the infection. So
Oh,
basically, like I said, I had a metal rod in my leg, so that was getting rusted and damaging my insides. But like, how are you supposed to know that, you know? So I was dying. Yeah, and just
wow.
imagine I was about to go home for like a week and then come back in a week to get in, like do my other session of chemotherapy. So this, I think, I believe I was at this point, I was in the hospital for like 2 months straight because like I kept getting sick. This
Okay.
was also the same time of what was that other pandemic? H1N1. So we were
Swine
exactly.
flu.
So I was stuck
Yes.
inside because I had such a low immune system that if I would have went out, I would have gotten really sick. And I think a week before, I ended up getting the H1N1 injection. I got really sick too. Almost started
Mm-hmm.
dying for that too. I got like really sick. So like I was just having a fun time. I was like, "Peace out, guys," and everyone's like, "No, you're coming back." So finally, she took my vital signs, and then I got rushed into the surgery because like the bone was getting infected and the metal rod was rusting. So they put it was a spacer in my leg for the meantime. So
Okay.
basically, I wasn't able to bend my knee, like bend my leg at all. It was straight. If I bent it, like it would have popped out,
Okay.
type of thing. So I had that in there
Okay.
for a bit, and then we had to make the decision of amputating my leg. But when I first came, you have a question?
Yeah, exactly. Hold on one second.
Go,
One
go, go.
second. So the
Yeah,
tub, infection, vital
yeah.
signs, the rod is resting.
Infected, yeah. So the infection was in.
It so my question is, if you never went into the tub, would you have just had the rod inside your leg and that was it?
Yes, but the issues with that rod in my leg, it doesn't grow with you. So I was 9 years old. I would be going back to the hospital every single year to lengthen the leg because you grow. But
Okay.
that one
Yes.
did have the highest risk of infection. They told me this from the start, which I also missed this
Okay.
part. They asked me if I wanted that one or my amputation. So my amputation is different. It's called a rotationplasty. And I don't deal
Okay.
with phantom pain because I basically have my foot still. I call it my baby foot because like I was 9 years old, but I basically still have my 9 year old foot. So yeah, yeah, yeah,
No
it's
way.
really cool.
Okay, well, this is so interesting.
Very
Oh my
cool.
gosh, this
But
is
now it's
crazy.
cool for me. But like
Okay.
back then, I was like, no, that's
Yeah, of course.
weird. Like I don't want to be like seen as weird.
Yeah.
Like just in my head, I was an athletic kid, was the fastest runner in my
Yeah.
school. Like with like the other kids, like
Mhm.
I was really quick. I loved sports. So like going from that to like you need to amputate your leg was like no. Like I'm gonna
Yeah,
take
of
the metal
course.
rod. I'm gonna deal with it. I'll come back
Yeah.
every year and get a surgery. Now that I think about it,
For
I would
sure.
not want to be in the hospital every single year. Now I'm happy that I chose this, but I didn't
Okay.
choose it at first. So that's why I got the metal rod. And then once it got infected and I got the spacer, they brought it up again. I didn't make this decision. My
Okay.
mom did because, like, honestly, in her head, I thank her for it now. But before, like, I was kind of mad that she chose it. But my surgeon, who
Okay.
is Dr. Turcott, he didn't do a kid. I was the first kid in Montreal to get the rotation plasty. So there was
Wow.
adults and there was a kid in Quebec that did it. He came and showed me his leg before I got my surgery. I was a little creeped out, but I was like I guess it's cool, like like whatever. I had a little crush on him too. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's cute, like
Okay.
he's cute. We could have a matching foot. So yeah, so finally my mom made the decision to amputate it. They said that I wouldn't deal with any phantom pain and it would
Sorry, what is
So
phantom
phantom
pain?
pain.
We're teach me and
Okay,
teach
so
everybody who's
phantom
listening.
pain is for people with amputations. If you have a stump, so that's what it's
Okay.
usually called. It's a stump that like they completely amputate the
Okay.
leg from there, and it's just like you know like how you would see in like movies. It's just like amputated. There's nothing
Yeah,
there.
you
Yeah.
just cut it.
So what they
Yeah.
experience, either if it's an arm or a foot, they feel their foot there. And it's an excruciating pain from what I learned. I've never felt it because I don't have it. But basically, people will go to the lengths of like putting a mirror in between their legs so they can see another leg there because it's all mental and it makes you like yeah, and it can be
Wow.
very painful and it can go on for like a day like of having a phantom pain and like dealing with it.
So is it really a pain, or is it just your mind tricking you and thinking that
I
you have a
think it's a
pain?
pain, but the pain that I think it's the mental pain, but it's because you get an
Yeah.
itch and you're like, I need to itch it, and you're trying to
Okay.
find it, and then you're like going crazy.
But
It's
it's
not
not
there.
there.
Like the only type of itch I get
Wow.
is that like I'll feel my knee being itchy, and I will scratch
Okay.
my leg, and like then I'll have scratch marks all over my leg. That's the only type of pain that I've dealt with. I don't have it
Understood.
often, but like sometimes I'll get an
Okay.
itch and I'm like trying to find it on my leg, and I'm like, okay, like I can't find it. I'm like, okay, Tony, you need to stop. And then
Yeah.
I look and I have a bunch of scratch
Yeah.
marks. I'm like, okay, we're done with that. So they usually deal with phantom pain. So that's what he had told my mom, and my mom was like, okay, like we're gonna do this because she also said that like she can also be prone to another infection if we redo it again. My mom was like, okay, like
Okay.
we're gonna choose this option and amputate the leg. So I went into surgery and I
How old are you at
I
this
was
point?
9. I was still 9.
So this is still 9 years old. So the bump, the cast, the surgery, the all of this stuff, you're still
9,
9 years old. This is
9,
still in the
yeah,
first
9.
year.
I could have been 10 at the
Okay.
amputation. I need my mom here. She's gonna be here, so she's
Yeah.
gonna pop in. She's like, "Hi." Literally,
That's cool. But you're young. You're
I
not
was
in your I'm just
so
making sure you're
yeah, like
preteen.
I was very young, and like to be completely real with you, I actually blocked out my whole cancer journey once I got into like school. It was just like a very like hard thing that I think mentally like I couldn't remember anything. Like people would come up to me that like I used to see in the hospital and I'd be like, I'm like, who are they? She's like, Tony, like you shared a room with them, and I'm like I mentally blocked it out. So like my
Hmm.
mom was always the one to tell me like what it was.
Okay.
So
A lot of people do that with
yeah,
trauma.
it
It's
was a
normal.
normal thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I believe it was like maybe like just 10, just turned 10 or something,
Okay.
or late like at the ending of 9. But then I got my leg amputated. So
Okay.
that was a really hard thing to deal with. I believe my surgery was maybe 8 or 9 hours, I believe, because yeah, just imagine they're taking from your ankle to my thigh, and they have to reverse my foot back. So basically, my heel, if you move your heel underneath your desk and it goes like this, and you move your knee,
Okay.
it kind of moves the same
Yeah, I'm
type of
doing that
way.
now.
So like,
Okay. Yeah, I'm
so
doing
my
it.
heel
Yes.
is my new knee now. So like, yeah.
Your
So
heel is your new
turn the
knee.
foot
Okay.
around, and it's
Yeah.
my heel. There
Oh, I
you go.
get it. I
Yeah.
get it. I get
So,
it. I get it. Wow. Okay, yeah. So hold on. You got to tell me this is hard, especially for people
and
just on
trying
a
to imagine
podcast
it,
in their
yes.
car listening, trying to. So you are not. Sorry, I don't know what the term is, but it's not an amputee. It's not your leg is not
No, it's a
completely cut off.
rotationplasty.
It's a rotation
Yeah.
plasty. Got you. So that doesn't mean it's so that's why you don't have
No,
phantom pain, and that's why your foot is still a 9-year-old
basically.
foot.
So like they had to attach the nerves
Understood
and
now.
stuff so like I can be able to move, but I've realized that like my foot has not grown since, which I find it very cute. It's just like a
Yeah.
little 9-year-old foot. Like it's really small. And
So your ankle now is your knee. So do you
yeah,
have
I
an
have my
ankle?
ankle. So say you amputated just above your ankle. So it's not
Okay.
like I still have my ankle and my whole foot. So like just like amputated maybe like I don't have socks on, but like maybe from like here. Okay?
Got you.
So
Okay.
like there,
Understood.
um
Mm-hmm.
That's where they amputated it. So then they just reversed it backwards. So it's basically my thigh and then my bottom half of my foot. So it's equal to like my knee. So when I sit down, like they reach the same part.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you take off that cast or that whatever, what is that thing there around your leg? What's
This
it? What is
the
it?
my prosthetic leg.
Yeah,
So this is
your
yeah.
prosthetic
So
leg.
this the
Okay.
top part is basically to keep my leg in position because
Yes.
like I could like say trip and like break my whole bone. Like it's very fragile.
Mm.
And like I also have weak bones because I don't drink milk. I don't like milk. They really tried forcing me to drink milk in the hospital. I was like, no, this is not happening.
Yeah.
So I actually
So when you take off that prosthetic leg, is there a leg fully all the way
no.
down to
So
your
the
foot?
only prosthetic leg way that goes all the way down to my foot is my prosthetic. But if I take off my leg, my amputation leg only reaches to my knee. And then there's nothing on the bottom half.
There's nothing on the
Yeah,
bottom
look,
half.
we'll
Okay,
try to show
hold on,
you
hold on. You gotta
a
describe this.
little
Yo,
explanation. We have wires here, but like basically this is my leg. This is the
okay,
fake.
that's your
No, this is
real
the fake
leg.
one.
Oh,
This
that's
is
the fake
fake,
one.
and
Okay,
then from this point
yeah,
is my leg. So my leg stops
that's
here.
real. Okay, but that's what I don't get with the foot. How is your real foot there at the bottom?
This is not my real foot. At the bottom, it's a fake foot.
Yeah. So how do you have your real
My real
9-year-old foot?
9-year-old foot is right here.
Okay.
It's confusing. It's very
Okay.
confusing.
Okay. I get it now. Woo! Round of applause for Trent. Yo, finally getting it. All right. Maybe everybody else got it out there, but I was not getting it.
People
Okay.
have a
Got
harder
it now.
time understanding it. That's why, like, when I'm always out, not many people realize I have a fake leg because, like, I'm very
Got you.
bubbly and very like. One thing I always say is that you need to
Yeah.
be comfortable. As much as like sometimes you can be
Yes.
uncomfortable in a situation where you don't know people, you have to be comfortable
Yes.
because then people are going to be withdrawn from you and they won't want to ask you and they'll go to staring and then you automatically feel uncomfortable
Yes.
with staring. But me, I'm like,
Yes.
okay, no. I've had a friend that literally we were chilling for 3 days straight, and then only until I wore shorts, she was like, "You have a fake leg?" I was
No
like,
way.
what? I was
Wow.
like, you didn't realize this whole time.
That's
She's like, well,
hilarious.
we were like chilling for a bit, like you weren't really doing like hard things. Like I saw you had a limp, but like I didn't think you had a fake leg. I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, like she's like, you just don't give off that energy, I guess. I'm like, okay.
Well, that's good. That's good. And we're going to talk about that now that like we understand
Yeah.
everything, and I finally understand everything. So they took your 9-year-old foot, ankle, and brought that up to, and that is your knee because that's where the cancer was. So your ankle in reverse is your knee.
Basically. Good job.
God.
You got it.
Finally got it.
It was
Sorry about that.
fine.
Okay, I get it. So when you're at home, like chilling on the couch or whatever, you take off the amputee part of your leg.
Like I literally like how I explain it for girls that will understand this. When you get home and you're like, I want to take off this bra. Like mine is taking off this leg.
Yes.
Like I whip it off to the side. I'm like, it's good.
Got you.
It's done.
Got you. And the only reason why it's up all the way to your thigh is to protect your femur and the top of your leg bone
Basically.
from breaking or having any further issues.
So it's just more of a secure thing to keep in your leg. Like people with stumps that have phantom pain, they don't have the top brace. They just have the lower half. So they just stick their leg in and then they walk with it. Whereas us, we have more to protect. So we actually have to have a brace. Mine's a bit different. Like the thing is with rotationplasty is it could be completely different. I've met some kids in war amps that had cancer in their thigh and then they took off their whole like basically from their knee. They took the whole bottom half of the leg and then stuck it up and rotated it. So their thigh part is a lot skinnier than mine. So like that was a little confusion for me when I went to war amps. Like I was like, why is it smaller? I thought my leg was swollen, but no, it's just like it's my thigh, so like it's a bit bigger. But so it depends on like
Nice.
where the cancer is. People can have like a different type of rotationplasty, but it always looks the same. It's just like it could be either skinnier or a bit bigger. Yeah.
Amazing. And sorry, pardon my ignorance. Is War Amps part of Shriners?
War Amps
Or
does deal with Shriners, but War Amps is
okay.
basically it's a institution that basically helps kids that have amputations. So you can have like either a missing finger, you can have no hand, you can have there's different
Mm,
types of amputees. Some people are actually born and like they
yes.
have like different like legs and stuff. Like I was
Mm,
awoken to a whole different world when I went to my first war amp. So I was like a little taken back because I haven't seen some of these things. But it's so
yeah.
amazing what these kids could do because like we would have like a talent show and they would show all their different amputations and their different like arms or like different like stuff, and it's
Yeah.
really really cool. So like worms basically helped me through school. So like I'm a full-time student, so they would provide me with like it's not a loan because it's a bursary. They give you a bursary, so they give you a
Okay.
certain amount of money to help you through school. When I want to do driving,
Got
they
you.
pay for my driving. So like yeah,
Wow. Still
yeah.
till
So if
today?
I like I haven't done my
Amazing.
driving yet, and I still have no license, but like I'll get there. I'll get there. But once I do my full schooling, they will reimburse me back all the money
Mhm.
that I paid for my driving. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a very
Amazing for
good.
you. Have you not done your driving because of your condition or
No.
just
I
your own
actually
self?
went into school and I passed the first step, I guess, like the first little section. I passed it. But
Hmm.
when I went to the SAAQ, it was kind of upsetting because my amputation is on my left leg. You drive with your right. And I finally was so
Yes.
excited, just passed my exam. I can get my permit. I went to the SAQ. We did everything. And then obviously, like, I checked off
Hmm.
the box of like a handicap. And the guy literally
Yeah.
went like, I'll be right back. And then turns around, not even walked away, turns around, called his colleague, and then they're just gossiping. And he gives me back my paper. He's like, "You need to have a doctor's note to get a license." And I was like, "Are you
Wow.
serious?" I'm like, "It's not even my right leg." I'm like, "It's not really intervening with anything."
Yeah.
So it is my fault. I also feel bad to go to the hospital now because like I'm 12 years cancer free. So once you're 10, you no longer go to the hospital. So I kind of like,
Okay.
I'm really bad at booking appointments. I'm so used to my mom doing it till this day. So
Okay.
I'm supposed to go there and bring a paper and then have my doctor sign, but I haven't gone and seen my surgeon because I tried bringing it to my leg technician and he wasn't allowed to sign it. So
Got you.
it is kind of my condition, but it wasn't me that wanted to hold myself back from my condition. It's more of the
Understood.
driving community and the institutions that hold me back. But they do
Understood.
pay for everything.
Okay.
Shout
Shout out
out
to
to
War Amps
Lance.
then. All right. So let's just tie up the life part because then I want to go to the love part and I want to go
Hmm.
to legacy. Um, so when did you have the sorry, is it
Prosthetic,
prosthetic
yeah.
leg? That's the proper term. The prosthetic leg and finish all the surgeries. How old were you?
Um, I finished when I was ending a 10. And then I got my
Okay.
prosthetic in the ending, what's grade five? Is it grade six? Grade six, because we go into grade seven in high school.
Okay.
So yeah, the ending of grade
Okay.
six, I was at Springdale Academy. My mom had switched me to a
Hmm.
different school. I was originally at Purcell Academy, but it did shut down. So my mom sent me to a one level school because I was using crutches. So
Okay.
like I
Hmm.
did wear fluorescent Ardennes shoes with my backwards foot. Blessed. I was just walking around with my backwards leg. I was like, I
Hey.
was not like, I think high school was more of the dealing with bullying, but like in elementary, I
Okay.
was there with a fluorescent blue backwards foot and like on my other foot, walking around in crutches, hitting people with my crutches. Like I was very like comfortable with
Wow.
myself. So
Yeah.
it was the ending of grade six that I got my prosthetic legs. My mom was like, "Okay, you're going into high school. You need to start practicing with your leg because like you need to be able to do stairs." And she's like, "I need to be feeling okay
Hmm.
that you will do stairs and not drop."
Exactly.
Like It was a whole
Exactly.
system. So like it was only in the ending of grade 6 that I got my prosthetic leg. So when I went into grade 7, I was a bit more comfortable with walking with my prosthetic leg. It was little weird though.
So about
Yeah.
2 years. So from 9 to
Yeah,
11,
so
or so
11,
about two,
yeah,
to 3
basically. I
years.
was on crutches for 2 years and then I went to my prosthetic leg. Yeah.
Okay. So you have your prosthetic leg, and then, like you said, you as a cancer patient, you have to check in every 10 years, of course, to make sure the cancer isn't
Mhm.
spreading or isn't going anywhere else. So has it spread? Has it gone anywhere else, or has it been contained
It's
to your
the
leg?
so when they removed the cancer, the surgery when they did remove everything, they removed 96% of it. So most of it was
Okay.
gone. With my type of cancer, osteosarcoma, it does have reoccurrence, different cancers, so you can get it in different spots. Nothing has spread, but I did have some few scares, like when I get bumps on my other leg, because I can't really
Of
feel
course.
what my other leg feels like and be like, is this normal?
Yeah.
Like I grab my friend's leg and I'm like, is this normal?
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah,
like
I
I
get it. I
do
get
have
it.
my little scares and I'll go to the hospital and just get a checkup. But they usually do that before they used to do it every year. So they do blood work, x-rays, MRIs, and like check my whole body and like see if everything was fine, and everything was fine, and I haven't gotten cancer since. So
So 10
12
years
years.
cancer free.
12 years
12
cancer
years
free.
cancer free. I'll put the cheers in after. I will find it and put it in after. Don't worry about that. So congratulations for being
Thank you.
cancer free for 12 years, and I hope it's for the
Yeah.
rest of your life. So tell me a little bit. So you brought us from 9 to 12, and you touched on bullying and growing up. Can you tell us a little bit about how it is, growing up as a teenager and even a young adult, as a cancer survivor, amputee, especially in this, oh my gosh, this Instagram
This
age,
generation.
and I went on yeah, it's not social media and touching up and this or whatever. So, but also like not now, because I just went on your Instagram before well, I've been on it before, but preparing for the interview, and I see where you're at now, but because we're trying to encourage people to like love
Mhm.
themselves and and grow and be strong or whatever, can you tell us a little bit about your journey, because I'm sure you weren't as strong or you weren't as open when this first happened, so you can tell us a little
Yeah,
bit about that.
so high school was the biggest, like, okay, like, yeah, I'm different. I wasn't, like I said, I was in an elementary that was very small. It was one floor, so everyone knew who I was. So I think that made it a lot easier. Going into high school, there was people that didn't know me, so that's where the bullying came in. It was very, very hard, dealing with like the little jokes that people would say. Like before, I used to be called a transformer, or the worst one was, I love him now. Terry Fox is my best friend. Like even though I don't know him, they used to call me
Shout out to
exactly. We
Terry.
actually had the same cancer, me and Terry Fox. I had the same, yeah, we had
Oh,
the same
really?
thing, except I had a different surgery, but we had the same cancer. They would call me Tony
Okay.
Fox. So it was a
Okay.
little like in high school, you're like, okay, like that's not my name, like stop. So
Yeah,
like it
of
was a
course.
little hurtful. People like,
That would be a
yeah,
dope
that's
Instagram
what
name
I
now,
think about.
though.
I'm like, my name
Tony
is Tony
Fox.
Fox.
Hey.
Yeah, like I like the name. People call me
Yo.
like they try to say something. I'm like, they're like Tony Fox. I'm like, yeah, yeah, then what? like, but like
Facts.
before, like even Transformer, like you wish you were a Transformer. I could switch my leg up and do a
Yeah,
Transformer
right?
thing. You're jealous. But back then I
Exactly.
didn't have that mindset, because like back then, like the type of image that women or like young girls were supposed to be, I was nothing like that. So once I got out of the hospital, I never ate. I used to my mom didn't stop me with eating.
Oh.
So I was a bit chubbier, and I had one leg, so like obviously like people like the guys would look at me and be like, you're not pretty. And all my friends were very gorgeous. Love my girl.
Guys would
Yeah,
say that to you? They
yeah.
would actually say
They're
that
like
to
they're
you.
like your friends are pretty. Can you hook me up with your friends? Not you though. So like I had a lot of guy
Oh.
friends that were like close to, but like all the other ones, they were like they would like say stuff that like to me they're like, like you're my boy, like I would never date you. And I was like, like like it hurt and
All
stuff. So
right.
like I think that's when it like kind of pushed down my self-esteem. Like I didn't feel like I was pretty enough, like I was different. That's when I really felt like I was different. and it hurt a
Got you.
lot. But one thing that really did get me through was my friends. My friends
Okay.
never stopped telling me that I was gorgeous, that I'm like, listen, Tony, like you're a cancer survivor, you dealt with more than any of these girls did, or like even met like guys did, like you're beautiful. My mom too, my
Yeah.
sister Tiara always had my back. Tiara always had my back. uh it was definitely family and friends that really kept me pushing and like dealing
Okay.
with stuff, because I did have like a really hard time in high school with my like body image, and it only got better when I was in nine, like grade nine. So like from seven,
Okay.
8, 9, I was very insecure, very not happy with myself.
Okay.
I was a very bubbly kid, was very
Mhm.
popular because everyone knew me for my fake leg after at that point. So I was like popular, but I
Yeah.
was very insecure. So like,
Can I ask you a
yeah,
question about that? Is it, do you, is it annoying getting love because of your leg? Like, I'm popular because of my, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I
That's not what you want to be
yeah,
popular
like I've
for,
I've
right?
had this conversation with a girl, because like she had cancer too, and she like one thing like I really appreciate when people like are like you're a survivor, like this and that. But like sometimes it's like I don't want to be known for just that, you know? So like I want to be known for other things. Like I love to like say my story and stuff, but when people are constantly coming to me and they're like, "You're so strong. You're so like like yeah, I'm strong, but like I had no choice to be strong. Like if I wasn't strong, I would have died. And like you're a survivor. I love that one. But like it's just like I don't like I feel like because I had cancer and stuff, a lot of people just view me as that, as like a cancer person, and like not as my own person, like and other stuff. So that's why like I said, when I had a friend and she didn't even know I had a fake leg, like that was cool because she actually got to know me for me and wanted to be my friend and not just be my
Mm,
friend because like, oh, you're
understood.
cool, everyone knows you have a fake leg, let me be your friend. Because I had a lot of that in high school where
Understood.
like, oh yeah, my friend has one leg, and I'm like, hi, like how are you? I'm the one leg friend.
Got you.
So like I think like
Got you.
now like I'm okay with it, but like back then it was kind of like a like I like my name's Toni. Like I like yeah, I have one leg, but like I'm also really fun, I'm bubbly, like get to know me
Yeah.
for me and not just for like the situation I dealt with. But with
Okay.
that, which that's why like it's a pros and cons type of thing. Cause like one thing I get to know when people are very judgy towards me. Like right off the bat.
Okay.
Like if I meet someone new and they're judgy,
Yes.
I'll catch their vibe and I'm like, I don't want to be friends with them. And then I have other people who
Got
are
you.
like,
So you don't mind somebody like acknowledging it and getting it, but you don't want the boyfriend for that or the relationship for that or any
yeah,
special treatment for that. You are who you are, and yes, you know you can't not look at you and not see your leg. Fine, but let's not make it be the entire
exactly. I
case,
won't
right?
lie. I do like the free
No.
front parking type of things, you know. Like, I've seen my
Well, of
friends, they can
course.
park in the front. I'm like, VIP. And I'm like, I love street.
Yeah, but you don't have a
No.
license, so if you're in my car,
Yeah,
I
so
can
like
park
say
in the
like
front.
I like my friend Kat, I will put her out there. This girl drives me to my appointments, everything. Love this girl to death. Um, Shout out to
Shout out to
Kat, my
Cat.
bestie. Um, because I'm always with her, I can get a handicap sign for her car. And so whenever I'm with
Oh,
her, she can put up the sign and she can park in the front. So the handicap sign is only
got you.
registered to one car. It's not like registered to my name like Tony Grant. You put it on like any car you want.
Oh, okay.
It's registered to a certain
Yeah,
car. So like with my friend, if I'm with her
understood.
often, I can get a handicap sign and it'll be in her car whenever I'm with her.
Can you get one for her
Yeah.
and your mom?
So like I can get one.
Okay, so you could get
Exactly.
multiple.
I think it's max
Okay.
two you're allowed to get. I could be completely
Okay.
wrong, but
Hmm.
I think it's max two that
It's
you
fine.
can get for cars. Because like I mean, if you
Yeah.
are a kid in a divorce, like you know, a mom dad, like it would make kind of sense to have like both your parents to have a handicap sign. But I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
like some of the advantages you get of having a prosthetic leg is great, but um besides that, like I just don't like being seen as just like a cancer patient. I think any cancer survivor can relate to that. Is we're
Of
our
course.
own person, we dealt through that, and also we don't like to be reminded all the time that we had to fight for our lives
Exactly.
as a kid. Like I missed most of my elementary. And I'm sure other kids that I've seen kids come out the womb and like have a tumor on their chest and they weren't even born for 3 days. Like it's
Yeah.
triggering in that point, but like
Yeah.
like I got through it.
I get it. Like, and it's like, I feel bad because it's like, yeah, I had you on my
No,
podcast
no.
because you're a cancer survivor, because you're an amputee, but at the same time that, it is your story and it is your journey to tell, right? So just, yeah, I
Like
totally
stuff
get
like
what you're
this, like
saying, though. But
it's me
it's like,
telling my story. Not everyone knows my story. Like you posted me on your page, and like I loved it because everybody went down to my main picture. And my main picture actually explains who I am and why I have one leg. So I got like
nice,
maybe like 20 likes on that picture just of people liking it because like they looked at my page, but they went down and they saw like one picture of me and it
nice,
explains my story. And I was like I do appreciate it, and I like people to know because
nice.
not a lot of people know
Okay.
about different surgeries and cancer
Yes,
survivors and stuff. So stuff like this, like I like doing
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But don't like go out there and be like, this is the only thing that she's about, because Toni is about
Yes.
much more than this. And we're gonna get to that part in the legacy part. So I'm a big mental health advocate. Have you done any therapy, or have you spoken to anybody about having to deal with cancer and being an
Yes.
amputee?
So like I said in high school, I blocked out everything on my cancer journey. I got diagnosed with depression and anxiety in my last year of high school because it was like, what do you want to be?
And this is what age?
So this is
So this
grade
is last
11,
year of high school,
15,
15,
16. I got
16.
diagnosed with cancer and depression
Okay.
because I got all the questions of what do you want to be? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go to college? And
Yeah.
like when I was in the hospital, I really wanted to be a doctor or a nurse. That was like my favorite. Like I wanted to be that. Now in my college years, I want to be a psychologist because my psychologist
Good.
really helped me when I went to go see somebody. She got me to understand everything that I was dealing with. I was like very like I wasn't necessarily like no, I was like very deep depression and crippling anxiety. So like I would go around people and I would get very nervous. I like would like have shakings. Like I would be sometimes like I can't even like I would walk in a room and like I can't like I have to leave. And like it was just too much for me. Yeah.
Really?
Like the stairs, like even when my self-esteem was at the highest, like the stairs like you would get walking in a room with no one knowing you, like would really like I sometimes would forget I have a fake leg and I'm like, why is everyone staring at me? Like what's going on? And like the depression, like I still deal with the depression and the anxiety to be honest. I think most people in this generation do. I go through like points where like I feel like I'm not enough. And I also believe that social media and how like they say like Bella Hadid is the most gorgeous person in the world right now. Like it's a lot, and like
Yeah.
it's a lot for girls that have full bodies. I can imagine what it is for
Yes.
amputees and people with like different body stuff because like you're already seen as not perfect and now you're not perfect to like the view of everybody else. So it is very
Yes.
hard dealing with it, and like for somebody like me, like I do encourage seeing a psychologist when you're going through these because like nobody understands. Like, unless you have somebody that's like an amputee too, nobody really
Yes.
understands what you're going through. Like, dealing with like body image and like not feeling enough.
Yes.
It's good. Like, people frown upon like talking to a psychologist, you're crazy. No, it's very good.
Especially in
Yeah,
our black
exactly. Yeah, it
culture,
is
black
very hard,
community.
especially if they're like
It's
you're crazy.
ridiculous.
Like, you don't need to talk to anybody, talk
Yeah.
to your pillow.
So they even make you feel that way, even being an
Yeah,
amputee? I mean, it would be,
they're
this
like,
is nuts.
like
This is
my
crazy
mom,
to me.
thankfully, she was very like once I told her like I sat down my mom and my sister and I was like, listen, like I want to tell you like guys, like I'm very depressed and like I'm dealing with a lot of anxiety. They both cried and then they're the ones that helped me get my psychologist. So they're
Wow.
very
Shout
and
out to
yeah,
mom.
yeah.
Grandpa, I'll put sound effects for her.
Yeah. No, shout out to
Trust.
them because I like seen many people or like even like some of my like family members are like, why are you gonna go see a psychologist? You can't talk to your mom. Like I can talk to my
Oh,
mom.
I'm so sorry that you had
Like
to
I
go through
can
that.
talk to my mom, but like my mom doesn't have all the answers for everything. Whereas like a psychologist that's dealt with
Exactly.
other patients, obviously she can't tell me about the other patients, but like she's dealt with it and she knows how to it helped me in some type of way. So
Yeah. Not only that, if I could just help you finish your thought, is that because it really upsets me when people don't understand about psychologists, is that not only does she speak to other patients, is that I'm sure what you're doing right now, if you're in psychology, psychologists are trained to understand how the mind works. So they understand depression and anxiety, and they could give you things and exercises to help deal with that. Your mom or me or your somebody who cares about you is only going to come from it from a perspective of love and say, well, like, don't worry about it, be strong.
That's
You don't
the
need
favorite
the
word.
pat on the back. Be strong. Be strong. You're exactly. You're beautiful, Toni. Whatever. No. A psychologist will be like, okay, all of these things that are going on in your mind, and all those things are true that your mother or somebody like me or whatever will tell you. But there's things that a therapist can do. Just like if you say, hey, I want to lose weight, a trainer could show you certain things to make you lose weight. There's things that a therapist can teach you to have less anxiety and less depression. So you would think that people would understand somebody in your situation.
A psychologist can
going
dig
through
deep into your mind without even digging deep into your mind and like find out why you're insecure for this. Like most of my insecurities did go with because I didn't have my dad in the picture. He was in the picture for a bit, and then I got sick, and I guess he got scared, so he kind of left. So a lot of my issues of being like with guys saying that like I'm not pretty enough, it's because I felt like my dad didn't think I was pretty enough, and that's why he left. So that was a lot of issues, and like I didn't even know that. Like I thought I was fine, and it was only till after that I realized, because my psychologist told me while I was in her sessions when I spoke about my life, and she's like, I think that a lot of your issues and your trauma does come from like your dad leaving your life, and it made so much sense. And then like that's what I mean, that it's not just my cancer, it's other things that trigger you and made me feel insecure. It wasn't even the fact that I got my leg amputated, because I was okay with it. It was something completely different that had nothing to do with my cancer treatment that was really triggering me. And like everyone was like, Toni, like it's okay, like you have one leg, but it's fine, you're beautiful, you're strong. And I was like, yeah, like I understand, but like I didn't understand why those words weren't helping me. It was because it had nothing to do with my amputation or anything.
Oh, that is amazing. Oh my gosh. And therapy helped you realize that.
Yeah, therapy, I miss her to the death.
That's amazing. So I'm so happy that you went to therapy and that you're able to work through things. And I think the biggest takeaway, I'll try to find the biggest takeaways in every podcast. The biggest takeaway is the most obvious issue was nowhere near your biggest issue. And that is amazing. Do you mind if I ask how's the relationship with your dad now? Is he in your life? Has that been worked on?
I have my sister is a different dad. So basically my sister's dad is my dad now. He's my love of my life. He's my favorite person. He's a big teddy bear. He basically, while I was doing chemotherapy, my dad disappeared mid chemotherapy treatment. He came in and he would come see me every single day, and he would bring me to movies, and still to this day he has kids, and his kids don't even know that like I'm not really his daughter. They grew up thinking I'm their sister, and like he's my dad. My biological dad.
Amazing.
Don't really speak to him, and the only kid of his that I speak to is the older brother, which is Brandon. Besides that, his daughter tried fighting me. The other one of the daughters did try getting in contact, but like our schedules didn't work, so we didn't end up meeting. But I'm not really like accepted into the family, except for those two people that really tried reaching out for me. I see my grandparents and they like look right past me, so like I don't really talk to them, but I talk to my sisters. That's my dad. That's who I say is my dad. So yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you have a dad in your life and somebody who you could call your dad. And shout out to him. I don't know his name
Toni
is, but
Tate.
shout out dad. Shout out Toni Tate. For being a great dad and a great
father figure.
Just a great person all around. Father figure. That's amazing. Okay, so I think we've generally touched on every part of your life
Yeah,
so far. I'm not going to
really.
dig any more into it. So you brought us in, from 9 to 23 years old now. We're going to go over into the love segment, and love doesn't necessarily mean, physical love, but, it's really important. I just think love is support, especially from the opposite sex or the same sex,
Yeah.
depending on, where you're at in life. But can you speak a little bit to relationships and, was it hard getting into relationships? Have you had relationships? How was that
I've
side of your
had
life?
relationships. I thought it was gonna be very hard. Like throughout high
Okay.
school, like my mom would cry because I would tell her that I'm gonna be one kid that you don't have someone married or have kids, and it would hurt me. But
Mm,
she seen the pain in me because like I said, high school was hard. But once I got out of high
yeah.
school, um, it really I would I just was myself. And yes, I won't lie, I was very shy when it comes to my leg, because when you're with a boyfriend, you do sleepovers. So
Mm,
I said, when I come home, I whip off my leg. So
of
it was
course.
kind of getting into that comfortability, finally talking to somebody, and we're chilling, watching movies, and I'm like, okay, do I take off my leg? I'm not comfortable laying in bed. And then and then me,
Yeah.
my little secret was I would put a blanket on me, and then I would slowly
Hmm.
slip off my leg, but my leg would be in the bed, but it would be
Okay.
off. So that was a hidden thing. And then finally, now, what's it called? If I'm talking to a guy and I'm comfortable, I'll get in my bed, they'll come in the house, I'll lock the door, I'll come in the bed, and then I'll throw my leg on the floor, and then they're walking around it. Now, the boyfriends that I had, they always made jokes, they would snatch my leg, and they're like, "You're not leaving
Yeah.
my house. Where are you going?" And
Oh
I'm like,
no.
I'm running with it. I think
That's hilarious.
to get to the point of comfortability, and then also not you being weird about it. You need to be as I'm very dark humor, make a joke about my leg, and laugh. If you don't laugh with me, I'm gonna be okay, it's awkward now. I need you to make a joke
Exactly.
with me. I would say I was my leg's about to break, and it's okay. It's fine. We don't need it.
Exactly.
It's little jokes. I need to be comfortable with you. And there's it has been some guys I would talk to, and I didn't get to that point of comfortability. But then that's when I knew that they're not for me. It's how I say I'm very bubbly to make people ask me questions. If you don't make me feel I can just whip off my leg and not give a care in the world, then that shows me that I can't really be with you. So it is very hard.
I love
There
that.
is a lot of men that are very I went on a date. This was the worst date I ever had. I was on
Okay.
a dating app, and I had a picture. The picture you sent me of me and my skirt. You see my leg. You see my leg. Yeah,
Okay. Oh, the one that I asked you if I could
yeah,
post on
yeah.
Instagram.
The one that you posted.
Okay,
That
okay.
you can see my leg. So it was
Okay.
on the dating app,
Yes.
and he had come down to we
Yeah.
were gonna go eat, and I forgot my mask. It was during COVID, and so I ran back into my apartment to go get my mask, and my roommate at the time came outside with me so she can see who he is. She's like, "I'll wait by the car while you go and try to talk a bit."
Okay.
The first thing he asked her, he's like, "What's wrong with her leg?" My
He asked
friend,
this
my
to your friend?
roommate. He's like, "What's wrong with her leg?"
Okay,
And then she
buddy.
was like, "She lost her leg when she was 9. What do you mean? It's she's like, I've seen her dating apps. There's pictures of her leg." He's like, "Oh, I didn't see." And she's like, "She
Mm.
doesn't have one." And then she literally whipped out her phone, and she's like, "It's this picture. You definitely see it." And then
How do you not
how
notice
do you
that?
not notice that? And then she's
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, I didn't know what happened to her." She's like I said, she had cancer when she was younger. You can speak to her about that.
Mm.
Ended up lying about what he was doing. And then when I came back into the car, we were driving to Orange Julep. It was the most awkward thing, Trent. He literally, the first thing he did
Oh
is, because
no.
you know how they're driving, so basically my fake leg is on their side and my real leg is facing the
Your
door.
face. Okay, yes.
He grabbed
Yes,
my
okay.
fake leg. He was holding it. I was just like,
Oh my gosh.
And he's like,
I gotta do a show for men, man. You're just like, oh Lord,
I was
dude.
like, wait, like not even a hi,
Yo.
like
So he just grabbed
like
your leg.
I come in and he goes to drive and he's like, so like I heard that you lost your leg when like you were 9, and I was just
Oh,
like, yeah. I was
oh
like,
Lord.
yeah, and he's like, you had cancer, and I was like, yeah. You're so strong. You're a survivor.
Oh my gosh. Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh. Yeah, real
and I
romantic,
was like,
buddy.
I felt bad. He just driven from Ottawa, so like he just did like basically a 2-hour drive. So I was like, okay, Tori, like just
Okay.
past this, and then it just like wouldn't stop. He was just like asking me questions, and I was like, no, like I'm fine. He's like, can you walk? I'm like, did I not walk to your car? Like I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
of
like I'm
course.
fine. Like he's like, aren't you scared of COVID? Like if you get
Yeah.
sick from COVID, could like it affect your leg? And I'm like, what? like,
Jeez.
what? Like it makes
It's a respiratory
like
disease,
it
bro.
makes no sense. And I was just there, and it was like I literally like we ended up like getting food, and like he came back to the house, and like we were sitting in the living room, and I literally had to like give my roommate the stairs, and we made the biggest lie that basically he's probably gonna see this, but I don't care. I made the biggest lie that like it was during COVID, so we had lockdown. And we told them that like lockdown's at 9, and if your car is still here, like you're gonna get a $5,000 ticket. Plus, we're getting a $5,000 ticket, and we're not paying for that unless you're paying 1,500 out of your 50,000 out of your pocket. And then we literally made him
Yeah.
feel like he needed to leave, and he left. I had a date for an hour with him, and it was the worst date
Wow.
and the worst experience I ever dealt with like a man and my leg. It was just really freaking awkward. I usually have like guys like maybe a little scared to ask me about my leg. But this man
Sure,
was
which is
just
normal,
blunt,
yeah.
just full forward, grab my leg, like, what's up,
Wow.
sweetheart? I'm like, move your head.
So I guess the good thing about it is that that's not one bad experience, but you've had many others that were
Most of
not
my
bad.
other experiences were very good. They're very accepting. Like me, I would be scared, and they're like, like I want you to know, like I
Yeah,
don't care. Like you're beautiful anyway. Like that's nothing. Like that's just
that's
another
good.
thing. But like, they're like, if anything, that makes you original. That makes you special. Like nobody else is like you. And that's one of my favorite lines that someone has ever
Yes.
said to me. And I was just like,
Right.
thanks. So like,
Good job.
you have the good one.
Because you know there's a lot of there's a lot of people out there that probably don't feel comfortable dating or don't feel comfortable putting themselves on a dating app or feel
Yeah,
comfortable putting a picture. Like I know girls that don't want
me
to put a
too.
picture because their hair doesn't look good or this isn't good. You're putting a picture with an
Yeah,
amputated leg
yeah,
on there. You know what I mean? And going on dating apps. Like that's
yeah.
amazing. Like I think because I don't know if it's because you were 9 and you've been dealing this your whole life, or if I think it's probably just your personality, but the fact that you're 23 years old on a dating app and dating and on a podcast being like, I had a horrible date with this guy and he didn't know how to treat me and he was horrible and we sent him
Yeah,
home. Like this is
you have to
amazing,
be
like
like if you're
it's
not,
amazing.
like that's one thing that I always tell kids like at the War Amp seminars. Like some of the parents would come up to me and their kids are like maybe 6, 7 years old and they're about to get an amputation.
Yeah.
And like I told them, I was like, one
Yeah.
thing, really be there when they're in high school. The biggest
Of
system
course.
that I had was my friends and my mom and my sister. Even my brother too. My brother was ready
Yeah.
to fight anybody that did me wrong. So like at the end of the day, like it's really family and my friends that really kept pushing me and showing me like, Toni, like you're beautiful. Like yes, you do have one leg,
It's
but like
amazing.
that does not make you different. Like it makes you different physically, but you're not different on the inside. You're still the same person. You're still the same as you're better than most people that are pretty and like stush, like me, like
Yeah.
like in elementary, I wasn't the nicest kid. I was like thinking I'm like top notch. So like it was a kind of like humbling thing. Like I say, I'm like me losing my leg was
Got
a
you.
humbling thing for me. And like I like at first I was like, oh, I got cancer and such, but like I really am happy that it did happen to me because I also got to grow up. I also got to see the world in a different type of view. That it sucks, but not many people can actually get that chance to see the world in a different type of view and
Exactly.
how it really is. People are so like, this is how it is, and this is how I'm supposed to act, and like it
Yeah.
changed me, and that's why I always tell people, like, with kids that are about to have a rotationplasty, I'm like, just be there for them, because that's the biggest thing. If you're not there for them, they're gonna grow up being insecure and not comfortable with themselves, because the biggest thing is, if the ones around you aren't comfortable with you, you're not going to be comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
If everyone's comfortable with you, then you're going to be comfortable with yourself. Like, I literally yesterday,
So it's really your surroundings, your mom, your surroundings, your
yeah,
friends,
and
your
you just need to
family.
joke about things. Like, my friend got a tattoo gun yesterday, and I have like the fake leg. And shit, can I practice on your ankle? And I was like, yeah. So I have a little turtle on my ankle right now. And like, she called it Franklin, and I have a friend's heart. Like, she was like, shit, let me just practice. And we're just like sitting there, and she's tattooing my fake leg, and they're like, Tony, you know, this is like a $10,000 leg, and you're tattooing it. And I'm like, I'm getting a next one in like a few months, so it's fine. Like,
Yo, that's hilarious. Why?
and you
Because there's
come
like
every
a
year.
skin there that
Yeah,
she
so
could
like
sew
it's like
to.
a foam type of part that she like
Wow.
basically just
Okay,
tattooed.
okay.
So they were tattooing it, and I'm like, I get a new leg every year. So like I'm like, I'm getting a new one anyways,
That's
like it's
amazing.
fine. And shout out to Warams, they pay for my whole leg. Like, if I had to pay for
Yo,
this,
shout out to
I've seen the
Warhouse.
receipts. They sent them to my house, and like maybe just like one little system,
Really?
like I have a BOA system on my leg. And just this, like the thing that you're asking me about, the brace on the top, $10,000.
Okay, yeah.
That,
And it's every year
yeah.
you have to get one.
So like
Jeez.
they put
Wow.
down a lot of
Okay.
money for kids with amputations. So like really, like, shout out to them for like helping all of us out.
Perfect. Well, yeah, we'll put a link
Yeah, you guys
to their
can get
site
a
and
little
stuff
keychain.
in
You
the
get a little
description.
keychain, and then what's it called?
Exactly.
If you ever lose your
Yeah.
keys, someone just puts it in the mailbox and it gets shipped to your house. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Another reason to donate. So you have a pretty much an, I mean, if you're on dating apps and you're sending guys home and you're not interested, the guys are coming over and you're throwing your leg, I'm thinking it's safe to say you pretty much have a normal 23-year-old love
Pretty
life.
normal. Pretty happy, yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. That's amazing. Um, so let's go to the
Hmm.
legacy part. Now you're 23 years old. So sorry, are you in
Yes, I am.
school right
I'm
now?
at Vanier. Have one more semester and then I graduate.
And
And
you're in
so
psychology.
I was in law initially when I was in Vanier, so I kind of switched my roles because of a situation that happened actually because of my leg. If you actually want to know, it's with the police
Okay.
system and everything. Uh,
I
okay,
do want
so
to
I
know.
will
Do tell,
explain
do
why.
tell.
I'll tell you that before I tell you what I switched in. So basically, when I was 18 years
Okay.
old, I went out drinking for the first time. It was a great time, but like ended up getting into an argument with one of my boyfriends. And I don't know what had happened. It's just I was really upset. He ended up dragging me into like a place, but like me, when you go downtown, you know how like different restaurants you go upstairs, or you like it's like, and then but there's also apartments upstairs. He pulled me into a little place and ended up being somebody's mainframe from a house, and like didn't know what was going on. I was crying, asking him why he was like treating me the way he was. And next thing I know, the cops are coming in and they push through, and then like they arrest me. And like they're arresting me, I'm crying because like I don't know what's going on. I'm like asking them to speak to me in English. I'm not a
Mhm.
French person, I'm strictly English. I only started speaking
Mhm.
French like recently. So they're
Okay.
yelling at me in French and treating my ex-boyfriend at the thing heavenly, like holding him. They're like, is this too tight? Like being all nice, and mine was like cutting my circulation. Like I'm just like this, like hold it. And then like they're finally bringing me to the car. Not, I'm like asking them to speak English, they're speaking French, not even listening to me. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like they're not gonna listen. I go to the cop officer. I was like, you need to unlock my leg to let me get in the car, because like I have like a because I don't drink milk, my leg locks and unlocks. So you need to unlock it for me to bend it.
Okay.
So I told him, I was like, you need to
Okay.
unlock it for me to get in the car.
Oh,
I
I
was not
understand.
even that close to the car. He unlocked my leg and took off my whole leg and made me hop to the car and then threw me in the car. And yeah, so they got me for that. And then they said that I assaulted a cop officer and I had a deadly weapon on me. My deadly weapon was my prosthetic leg. So I basically got charged.
No
I
way.
basically got charged. Wait, pause this. My mom's screaming. Shh. I'm on the podcast. Okay, so yeah. She likes to gossip, so I didn't want her to come in and say anything. I heard her in the hallway. Okay, so
I'm gonna leave that in. I'm not editing that out,
fine.
actually.
So yeah, so basically, they charged me with that. They said that I kicked the officer. I didn't kick him. I was
Did you
trying
kick
to
him,
walk.
though?
How am I supposed to walk and
Okay.
kick you at the same time? So they said I kicked him with my
Okay.
prosthetic, and that's why it's assault of a deadly weapon. So I went to court for 5 years trying to get my ex got his thing wiped off easy because he's a white boy. So, you know, he got his easy. Obviously, I'm a light-skinned girl. And then I told them in the car, I'm in school for law. I was crying. I'm like, I'm in school for law. I'm trying to be a lawyer. Like, I can't get a charge. The cop officers were laughing at me. Like, you think you're going to be a lawyer? And, like, just laughing at me. Like, being very, like, taunting and rude. And, like, my friend was, like, on the window, like, trying to tell me to calm down. He's like, can you stop crying? Like, calm down. They're not going to let you go. Finally, I calmed down. They didn't even bring me into the station. They just detained me in the car and then told me to leave. Yeah, so I went for 5 years trying to beat this case, and
Okay. What
I
was the
finally
outcome of
got
the
a
case?
lawyer that basically helped me with getting a deal that basically I have to complete 100 hours of community service. I pled guilty, and it gets wiped within 3 years. So I'm on a year and a half now of like having this criminal record, which sucks because already I'm viewed as a minority, and now I'm viewed as a criminal because of my leg. So it was a really hard thing for me.
But you are a minority. You're
Yeah,
not viewed as a
yeah, I am a
minority. You
minority,
are.
especially like with the color I am and my leg now, and now
Uh,
I'm a criminal too, apparently. So it took me like
Was it a legal aid lawyer or was it a lawyer
illegal
that you
age
paid?
later.
You see, this is a whole other story for a
Yeah,
whole
the
other
system
time
you can't.
of the system and arresting and not having, proper
No.
representation. If that ever happens
Okay,
again,
yeah.
call me,
It was
okay? First of
definitely
all, this
the
is
worst
ridiculous.
experience. I went through maybe 4 or 5 lawyers. One lawyer tried bringing me to trial. She would never meet me because she was pregnant. And like, what do you mean you want to go to trial? Like, you don't even know anything. I don't even know what I'm charged with. Like, I haven't even had a meeting with you. And like, I had to like tell her like in front of the judge, like I'm not with her anymore. And then yeah, like after that, like I finally got a lawyer that was one of my friend's legal aid lawyers. So like he like spoke about me and then like ended up making the deal. And like I told her, I was like, you're amazing. Like thank you so much. Any other lawyer that I was trying to get, they said that they couldn't get a deal. And then she got me this deal. Like yeah, it sucks. Like my friends want to go to the States now. And I'm like, count me out. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I don't even like the fact that you had to plead guilty and cop to a deal if you
And
didn't
the
do
cop
anything
showed up
wrong. But
every single year with his nasty ass little ponytail smiling in my face. And like it was the worst because like after me not going for a bit, I was in school, so I kept like saying that I didn't appear, like it was just my lawyer. I remember I went to the case and like I looked back and I smiled at a cop and I didn't realize, but he had like a smirk on his face. And I was just like, and literally a flash of him like being rude to me in front of the cop car, and I like broke down in tears. And then he just started laughing because I was crying, and I was like, "You're an asshole!" Like
that is so bad, man. And that's what they want, right? They want to charge you. They want to give you a legal aid attorney, and they're like, "Oh, just plea deal." And now you're in the system. You're charged as guilty, and you're
yeah.
a criminal.
And after
Unfortunately,
like a year and a half, I go back to the courthouse, and basically just it gets wiped. So like it will no longer be on my name. I will be in the system, but I won't have any charge on my name. So I'm waiting for that.
I know. Anyways, and you're still. But see, they tell you
I
that,
know.
but it's like you said,
I
it's
know.
there,
I
but it's
know.
still there. You're still gonna need a waiver to go to the U.S. I have a criminal record.
Yeah.
I talk about it in my book. I need a waiver to go to the U.S. for the rest of our lives. We'll need a waiver. I'm actually have to reapply for mine every 5 years. Doesn't matter how successful you are, how much money you have.
So they
It
can
does not
still
matter.
deny you.
Yeah, they could still deny me. Well, once you have a waiver, once you're approved for a waiver and you keep on getting approved, they can't deny you at the border once you have the waiver. But they could deny my application every 5 years. They would have to need reason. I mean, as long as, you're not Yeah, exactly. You have to submit all the time. Do your fingerprints. You haven't got any
You
charges in
still
the
have to
past
go do
5
your
years. You're
fingerprint?
still a good every 5 years. You got to do your fingerprints. You got to show that you haven't got charged with anything. But yes, if you don't have any
No.
other charges and you don't have anything, you're a member of society.
After
Hey,
that,
you know, Trent, owner of Extra
yeah.
City, and this whatever. You're you know they I mean, knock on wood, hope they never
Yeah.
deny me. But yeah, that's the whole thing, right? Just to get us in the system. And but anyways, that's a whole other
Yeah. So
podcast for a whole other day. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that and
yeah,
have
it
proper
sucks, but
representation.
that's why with my school, I was in law and society, so I got accepted into the law course.
Okay.
I went into night school because basically I was working full time. I was living alone for a year, so I was working during the day. So I went into night school. I'm just finishing. I'm still in the law and society, but in night school, and I'm completing all my social science class because I was in school for a while. So I basically completed all my law classes, but I still had my social science class left. So I'm just doing that, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
go into uni and go as a psychologist into psychology because you can be a lawyer for your own company, but you still need to follow the system and the rules in some type of way. And I think I'm traumatized that I don't want to be in the position of messing up somebody's life because the system's telling me to do so. So I rather help them and speak to them.
That's what I was gonna say. So the flawed
Maybe no.
system made you not want to do
Yeah.
law
And
anymore
after
and
that, I
go,
was like, no, I'm
wow.
gonna be a psychologist. At least I'm in the system, but everything someone tells me, it's confidential, and I can actually try to help them as much as I can, rather than being in front of a judge. You're helping them, but you're not really in charge of what's gonna
Yeah,
happen, the outcome for them. So I can't be a lawyer anymore. Yeah.
I understand. Which is sad because what we need is we need people like you in the
Yeah.
system
They
becoming lawyers,
traumatized me, bro.
fighting for people, right? And then becoming judges and then becoming lawmakers or be politicians. You see,
Yeah.
that's the unfortunate part about our community is that we get upset about the system but don't realize that we need to be in the system to
I'll
fix
be
the
in the system on
system
the
and to be able to
psychology part.
control the system.
Like,
Yeah. But hey, listen, I'm no different, right? I'm not in
yeah.
politics or anything, but yeah. All right. So yeah, so to get back onto legacy. So now you're 23 years old, and what a lot of people don't realize is that, I know it's a little bit morbid, but you're dead longer than you're alive, right? We're not on this earth. We're only on this earth for a
Yeah.
certain amount of time, but the beauty in that is that while we are alive, we are living for our legacy, right? So you're living for your legacy right now. So when I look at your Instagram and I see you with your prosthetic leg in, like you said, in a skirt, you're in a
Always.
bikini, you're on the beach, you're posing with your friends. Like, your Instagram looks like every other 23-year-old's
Yeah.
Instagram, you know, and shout out to you for
Thank
that,
you.
and empowering yourself and empowering others. So, are you cognizant of the things that you're doing? Are you thinking about that other people are looking and watching you? And if you are, like, what is the legacy that you would like to leave for Toni Grant? What would you like people to know and learn from your story and your
So
journey?
I actually know that some people are looking on my page. I wish there was more. I have been trying to get into modeling and different stuff because it's hard, especially in Montreal. It's a lot of rip-offs, a lot of take your money and then don't give you anything. So I've done a
Mm,
few of those and ended up being ripped off. I would love to give off the image for the generation coming that being beautiful does not mean of the standards of social media. It's how you feel. The most beautiful thing is self-love. If you don't love yourself, you can still be the most gorgeous person, but it's not if you're not comfortable with yourself, you can still see that in somebody. So me, I want to show the upcoming generations that having one leg, being a bit bigger than what the view of social media thinks is beautiful. You're so gorgeous, you're still pretty. You still need to keep pushing no matter what people. My biggest thing is when people can't tell me that I can't do something, I push to it and show them that I can do it. So I don't know, my legacy is just being self-love and showing that you can go through hell and back and still be a normal 23-year-old posting and ripping off legs and having fun on the beach with your friends. It doesn't stop you. Yes, you might hit a bump in your life, but it's how you deal with the aftermath. Like if you decide to deal and put yourself in a depression hole and deal with that, that's what your life's gonna be. If you push yourself to the other road and try to like as much as you can try to be happy, live your life to the fullest, and like just be comfortable with yourself. Like that's the biggest thing that I had to learn throughout my years of like dealing with cancer was self-love, and like just being with myself. That like now, like when anybody tries to insult me, I always have the best comebacks to come back at them. And they're like, oh, like I'm sorry. Like I'm like, yeah, like you try. Like I love myself. You can't say anything to make me feel like I'm less than you. Like I'm no matter what, I like you can try to make me feel like I'm less than you, but like at the end of the day, I went through more. Like yeah, I went through more than you, and I'm still here, happy, and we're still at the same bar, we're still hanging out in the same place, and look, I'm still here. Like no one can try to make me feel less than I am, because with my mom and how confident she is, and my sister, like they always pushed me to be the strongest woman I can be. And my mom was a single mom, so I watched her be one of the strongest women that she could be. My mom, you could come. Hello.
Oh, perfect timing. Hi, Mom. How are you?
Okay.
Oh, really? Do you remember me? I totally remember you exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot you can't hear me. I remember you. You look the exact same from 10 years ago. Like I would see you on the street and totally remember you.
And you got longer hair.
Yeah.
I saw you last.
I know. I got longer hair. I got a bigger beard.
Everything's good. Everything's
yeah.
good?
Thank you. Everything is super good. Yes. Yes.
Well, you know what? You deserve to be blessed.
Yes.
You're a good
thank
person.
you.
You do good things, and I like that. And you
thank
made a
you
difference
so
in my daughter's life. So that's what matters.
Thank you. Well, now the next thing will be, my goal is to try to get her a modeling contract. She just told me like that's what her legacy is going to be. So we're going to try to put her on our Instagram. We're trying to get her to, I was in modeling for a little while. I haven't done it in the past 10 years, but hopefully somebody sees this and we'll pick it up.
She's definitely very photogenic, let me tell you. She likes
oh, for sure. She's beautiful.
And she got a lot of
yeah, for sure, right? Well, keep on being amazing, and you've been such a great example. And like when people are here and talking about Toni's story and listening to her story, like there's going to be parents that are listening, and to know that like what you instilled and what you put into Toni, like you probably just take it for granted, but it's so important, especially her dad not being there as a single mom, like everything that you put into her, like that's crazy, and you had to put yourself aside a little bit to give her more.
It was a journey. It was a journey, but it was a journey that I didn't want her to feel, especially after losing her leg, I didn't want her to feel like she was different than anyone else. I didn't allow her in the home to feel like she had a disability. Like Toni would play the leg game every now and then, right? Like, oh, Mom, can you get that? No. You have a leg, put it on. You go get that. So it was never
nice.
Making her feel like she was different than anyone. I mean, there's days that I don't even feel like, I don't even realize the leg's gone, right? And her confidence.
So you normalized her. You're like, no, you're the normal 15-year-old little girl. You're going to clean the house. You're going to wash your dishes. You're going to do all that.
Do my laundry, everything.
So it's that old... Really? Oh, I love that. I'm going to put a round of applause for that. That is so good. People don't realize how much normalizing things makes the rest of your life normal and makes everything just so much easier for you, right? If you would have pet and powdered her the whole time, she would have grown up wanting to be pet and powdered by everybody, and the world's not going to do that.
And that's one thing I said, no, she's going to be a strong woman growing up in this world, and she's going to deal with everything. And I remember Toni when after her cancer battle, because she missed a lot of her elementary school, she went to high school, her first year of high school. And she said to me, Mom, I'm wearing my skirt today because it was uniform at Riverdale, right? And I'm like, you sure you want to do that? She goes, yep. She goes, I want all the questions asked today, and it's over with and done, and that's it. And that's what she did. She went in her skirt.
Wow.
She said, this is what I'm going to do. I said, okay, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. But, she's a strong girl. That's amazing. She's my hero. I'm so proud of her, And I love her a lot, and I'm thankful to God that she's still here with me, because a cancer journey, you don't know which way that's going to go, right? But she's striving.
And still annoying her.
Yeah, she still drives me crazy. Yeah.
Good. She's like, my mom is yelling. Mom, I'm doing a podcast. Be quiet.
She's gossiping. I need to make sure it's not on the podcast.
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah, facts. Anyways, shout out to you. Shout out to you for being a strong mom and, putting all of this greatness into Toni. And shout out to you, man.
Nice talking to you. I'm going to go cooking for Toni now.
All right.
Thank
All right. Take care. That was a fun little addition.
My twin.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, she looks the exact same. It's so crazy. It's like exactly the same as when I met her 10 years ago.
version of her. It's crazy now.
That's hilarious. So your legacy, is normalizing being a cancer survivor, being an amputee, and I think that's like the biggest takeaway for me, right? The two biggest takeaways is go to therapy, because the most that's so crazy to me. Like, you have a prosthetic leg, like you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, this girl must have issues, insecurity issues, all of this stuff because of her leg. And you're like, no, my dad leaving me was the biggest issue that I had to get over in my life. That's amazing. So, that's the lesson for just anybody else who are listening. Sometimes the obvious thing that you think is bothering you, some professional help.
Bothering you.
Yes, exactly. And some professional help might help that. And the other takeaway is normalizing anything that you have, whether you have something less or something more. We're all humans. The same thing, like, talking with Taya, being a trans woman, or all my
She
other
actually
guests,
went
like,
to my high school. She went to my high school,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know you guys know each other.
And I remember she left. It was I believe she wore like a skirt. And then the principal kicked her out, and it was a big thing in Riverdale. We were just like, why are you gonna like kick her out? Like, that makes no sense. And like, I loved her. I remember she was like, Toni! And I'm like, oh my God! She was the best energy in the school, and then they just let her leave. And I was like,
oh my gosh, Taya's crazy.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
She was the best thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
no,
she's
great. Amazing. And that's what she's doing. That's what you're doing. You're just normalizing. She's a trans woman. She's normalizing it. You're a cancer survivor, amputee, and you're normalizing it. You're on your Facebook normalizing it. Coming on on podcasts. And I know you just said, like, you go to the War Amps and talk. So just continue normalizing it. Like, we're all humans. We all have a story, and we all have something like amazing to learn from. So, shout out to you. And if you ever get arrested again, make sure you call me. I got lawyers.
Hopefully it will never happen again. I'm very like, I see a comment, smile now, and I'm like, hi.
Exactly. I was about to say, keep your ass out of trouble, all right?
I'm the one that, like, my friends are ready to catch an attitude. I'm like, relax. Like, at the end of the day, there's still, like, if you show any type of rudeness, you're getting arrested. I'm not coming with you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's not
Exactly. Yeah, as much as I get on cops, I also get on us too. Cops have a job to do, and they're there to do their job. So, I always got to respect, police officers at the same time. But stay out of trouble, keep on going in school. And, I hope to maybe have you on the show again in a couple of years to just figure out, where you're at now. But I know
hopefully by then I'll have a modeling agency that we can actually.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Call Taya. Taya's like huge in modeling. I'm sure she has some connection. Is there any amputee models out there right now, like popular? I know there's people modeling.
One girl, I don't know. I forgot. I always forget her name, but she has the same surgery as me, and she's actually a modeler. Like,
no way.
I did a brand for Dream of Anastasia, and I did her first collection, and then the next collection she was there, and I was like, oh my God, like, that's so cool, like
oh no
so
you got to meet her.
Because unfortunately it was during COVID, so she only had specific spots to let do the modeling. So like, she actually chose her instead of me because like she said there was like no point to do two amputees, but I think that she should have. But it would have been great to meet her. But she actually follows me. I think her name is Allison something. She when she followed me, I was like, oh my God, so cool.
That's amazing.
So yeah, like there's a few, but like there's not many that I know that are models with my surgery. She's the only one that I know that actually has my surgery and does modeling. Yeah.
Nice. Well, shout out to her, and I hope that is she Canadian or American?
She's Canadian. She's always in Canada. I think she's Canadian. Canadian.
Well, we need to get some of that American money for you. So, and I have some following in the U.S., so hopefully somebody sees this and gives you a call.
They can't be waiting at a pizza place.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so tell people where they can follow you. What's your Instagram? What your
So
handles?
you
How
can
could they
follow me on
support?
Instagram. It's Trin Grant. And I also have a TikTok, which is 444 Trin 444. And then, yeah, like I have Facebook, which is Trin Grant. It's always the name Trin Grant for everything, except for my TikTok.
And what's
Trin
Trin?
is, my name is Toni Amber Trinice Grant. So I was very insecure
Oh,
with, okay, so that's one thing. I was always insecure with my name Toni because
go
everyone
go go.
always thought I was a boy. Like, I would go to friends' house and be like, oh, I
Oh,
thought you were
okay.
going to be a boy. And I'm like, girl, like, hi.
Oh,
So,
okay,
like, I
okay, I
kind
get
of took
it.
the
And now
Trini.
you love it,
Yeah,
right?
I love my name. So, what I say now, real
All
people
right.
that I like know me as Toni. Every other person that, like, doesn't really know
Mm.
me knows me as Trin. So, like, I just kind of kept the
Got
social
it.
media as Trin Grant, but it's actually originally from my middle name, Trinice.
Oh, God. I thought it was
I
like
am
Trini or
Trini
something. And I'm
too.
like, I
Most
don't even
people
think
do
you're
think
Trini,
that,
right?
yeah.
Oh, you
But
are Trini?
like,
Oh, I thought you were
I'm
Jamaican for
Irish,
some reason.
Scottish, Trini, Bajan, Scotian, and Chinese. I
That is
know.
a mix. So welcome to Montreal, people. Yo, Montreal people are all so mixed. Even
It's
Canada,
from
we're all
Nova
mixed,
Scotia
man.
too. My
It's
mom's from Nova
hilarious.
Scotia, so she's a huge mix. Like,
Yeah,
she has a
yeah,
huge mix too.
exactly.
I don't even calculate what she has because I probably have more. Like,
Yeah, that's hilarious. All right, well, you everybody out there, go out and follow Trin Grant on Instagram. Show her some love. Add some modeling
woo!
agencies. Add some people to support my girl, Toni Grant. Thank
You're
you so much for
welcome.
coming on, being my second
I
guest.
feel
This
honored.
is
Thank
amazing,
you.
and we're gonna follow up with you. Oh my gosh, the honor is all mine.
No
Thank you so much.
worries.
There we go. All right, stay on. Okay, 1 second. Hey.
Powered by Riverside.